Welcome back to the deep dive, where we plunge headfirst into a mountain of fascinating information to really pull out those golden nuggets of knowledge, custom tailored just for you. Today, we're embarking on a truly profound journey and exploration into Ikigai, the Japanese secret to a long and, well, profoundly happy life. Our mission isn't just to demystify this beautiful, sometimes elusive concept, but to truly unpack its deeper meaning and, more importantly, equip you with actionable, easy-to-understand insights, things you can weave into your own daily existence, making it not just enlightening, but truly motivating. We're drawing heavily from the incredible book Ikigai, the Japanese secret to a long and happy life, which distills the wisdom of some of the world's longest-living people, especially from the legendary island of Okinawa. And look, this isn't just about adding years to your life, but about adding life to your years, finding that unique spark that gets you out of bed with a smile every single morning.
And that's exactly where the journey of the authors, Héctor García and Francesc Miralles, really kicked off. They met, interestingly enough, on a particularly rainy night in Tokyo. They got into this deep conversation about logotherapy, the psychological school founded by Viktor Frankl, which is all about finding purpose in life. What struck them was that while Western psychology seemed to have maybe moved beyond such old-fashioned concepts, the fundamental human need for meaning, for a reason why, well, it persisted more strongly than ever.
Right. It hadn't gone away at all.
Not at all. And it was in this context that the mysterious yet utterly profound word Ikigai surfaced in their conversation.
And it immediately captivated them, just like it's captivated so many of us since. This idea of Ikigai, it often gets translated roughly as the happiness of always being busy. But it's not about frantic, overwhelming busyness, is it? It's more like busy in a way that truly matters, that aligns with your deepest values.
Exactly. It's purposeful engagement.
And what's astonishing is its profound connection to extraordinary longevity, particularly on the island of Okinawa. I mean, we're talking about a place often called the Village of Longevity. Get this. They have nearly 25 people over 100 years old for every 100,000 inhabitants.
It's staggering.
It really is. That's far, far beyond the global average. You really have to stop and think about that. A place where reaching 100 isn't some weird anomaly, but a celebrated, almost expected part of life.
It's truly remarkable. When researchers, the gerontologists, epidemiologists focus on Okinawa, they invariably find a place where people consistently live longer and healthier lives than almost anywhere else on Earth.
Yeah.
Now, sure, factors like a healthful diet, a simple outdoor life, lots of green tea, the subtropical climate, they certainly play a significant role, no doubt. But the authors specifically highlight Ikigai as a central animating force in their lives.
That spark.
That spark. And what's even more compelling is their personal journey to Egimi, this rural town nestled in the northern part of Okinawa. It boasts the absolute highest life expectancy globally. They went there expecting to uncover secrets, maybe in the local diet or the purity of the water. But what truly struck them, what they saw firsthand, was this uncommon joy guiding the daily lives of the inhabitants. It was a sense of profound contentment and purpose that just radiated from them.
That's the core, isn't it? It's such a powerful reminder that it's not just about what they eat or how much they exercise, though those are important pieces, sure. It's about something deeper, their deep-seated joy and their remarkable community spirit. You mentioned that local expression, Ichariba Chode, for instance.
Ah, yes, Ichariba Chode.
It beautifully encapsulates this. It means treat everyone like a brother, even if you've never met them before. Wow. And then there's Uemaru, which emphasizes teamwork, mutual aid, collective support.
Uemaru, it's fundamental.
And this isn't just like polite custom or doing a good deed now and then. It's a foundational lived element of their society. It creates this powerful sense of belonging and security.
And this raises a really important, almost philosophical question. How much of their exceptional longevity is purely biological, tied to genetics or environment, and how much is psychological and social? The authors, drawing from their immersive experience, strongly suggest that while diet, consistent, gentle exercise, and robust friendships are undeniably crucial elements in the Okinawan equation, Ikigai is truly at the beating heart of their joie de vivre, their sheer delight in being alive. It's like the invisible thread weaving through their days. It inspires these centenarians to keep celebrating birthdays, cherishing each new day, and finding this deep, abiding satisfaction in just existing.
So, this deep dive aims to do more than just inform you. It aims to give you, our listener, the practical tools and, hopefully, the profound motivation to uncover your own Ikigai. What is your fundamental reason for being? What's that unique purpose that truly gets you up in the morning, eager to embrace the day? It's not something you just invent. It's hidden deep inside each of us, waiting to be found through a patient, thoughtful, and often joyful search. It's the journey of discovering what makes your life worthwhile.
And to unpack the profound meaning of Ikigai further, let's actually look at the Japanese characters themselves. It's quite revealing. The first character, Eiki, simply means life, straightforward enough. But the second, Gai, translates to be worthwhile. Now here's where it gets fascinating, and it's often lost in simple translations. Let's break down Gai. The first part, kus, carries multiple meanings. Armor, number one, or to be the first, like heading bravely into battle, taking initiative as a leader. The second part, I, means beautiful or elegant.
Wow, okay.
So when combined, it's not merely about work or purpose in some mundane sense. It evokes a beautiful, purposeful, and profoundly worthwhile engagement with life itself. It speaks to a life lived with intention and, well, elegance.
That adds so much depth and color to the concept. It makes it far richer than just a dictionary definition. It's not about some tedious routine, but about finding an elegant purpose, a reason that kind of ennobles your daily actions. And the Okinawan perspective, distilled from countless conversations with their elders, captures it perfectly, doesn't it? Ikigai is quite simply the reason we get up in the morning.
What's it?
Having this clearly defined Ikigai doesn't just bring fleeting satisfaction, it brings a profound, lasting happiness and meaning that becomes a central, unwavering driving force in their lives.
And what's truly surprising, especially when you look at it from a Western perspective, shaped by our concept of retirement, is the Japanese cultural attitude towards leaving the workforce for good. In fact, there isn't really a direct word in Japanese that perfectly translates to our idea of retirement as a complete stop to work.
Really? No word for it?
Not in the same sense.
Yeah.
Instead, people in Japan, particularly in these longevity zones, simply continue doing what they love, what gives them purpose, for as long as their health allows. Dan Buettner, the National Geographic reporter who studied blue zones extensively and really gets Japanese culture, observed that a purpose in life is so intrinsically vital there that our Western idea of retirement, of just stopping all productive engagement, it just doesn't exist as a cultural norm. Their lives are characterized by continuous, meaningful activity.
That alone challenges so many of our ingrained assumptions about what retirement should look like and what a fulfilling later life truly means. And it's a powerful theme we see consistently across what are now famously called the blue zones, those unique geographic regions around the world where people not only live the longest, but also remain the healthiest, most vibrant, and engaged well into their later decades.
Indeed. Decades of longevity studies meticulously analyzing these unique populations strongly suggest that a robust sense of community and a clearly defined ikigai are just as important, perhaps even more so, than the purely dietary factors we often focus on. Medical findings from Okinawa and other blue zones consistently show that people not only live significantly longer, but they do so with remarkably fewer chronic illnesses that plague the Western world, things like cancer, heart disease, diabetes, inflammatory disorders.
They just dodge them almost.
To a remarkable degree, yes. They exhibit enviable vitality and health at advanced ages, often defying what we consider the normal decline of aging. Their blood tests, for example, frequently reveal fewer free radicals, those unstable molecules that contribute to cellular aging and damage. That's likely due to their consistent tea consumption and the widespread practice of hara-hachi-bu, eating to 80% fullness. Women often experience more moderate menopause symptoms, and both genders tend to maintain higher levels of sexual hormones much later in life, contributing to their vitality. And perhaps most striking for our modern society, the rate of dementia in these populations is consistently well below the global average. They keep their sharp minds for longer.
That's an incredibly powerful combination of benefits. It paints a picture of not just a longer life, but a life lived with sustained health and mental acuity. And it's not just Okinawa, as you mentioned. Can you remind us about those 5 identified blue zones?
Absolutely. First, as we've discussed, there's Okinawa, Japan, particularly the northern part. You've got the unique diet, ample vegetables, tofu, small plates, and the pervasive philosophies of Ikigai and Moi. Those incredibly close-knit, informal groups of friends providing lifelong social and emotional support.
Moi, right.
Then we have Sardinia, Italy, specifically in the provinces of Nuoro and Ogliastra. Here, locals consume a diet rich in garden vegetables, often with a glass or two of local Cannonau wine daily. And they benefit immensely from a highly cohesive, family-centric community structure where elders are revered and integrated.
Very different culture, same outcome.
Exactly. Third, Loma Linda, California, home to a unique community of Seventh-day Adventists who are among the longest-living Americans. Their lifestyle is characterized by vegetarianism, regular exercise, strong faith-based community ties, and a clear sense of purpose rooted in their faith. Fourth, the Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica. It boasts remarkably active older residents. Many of them are still working in fields at 5:30 a.m. well into their 90s. It's an extraordinary commitment to daily, purposeful physical activity.
Still working the fields at 90.
Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
And finally, Ikaria, Greece, an island in the Aegean Sea with an exceptionally high proportion of centenarians. Often 1 in 3 people live past 90. They adhere to a traditional, ancient Mediterranean lifestyle. Whole foods, strong social connections, daily routines involving natural movement, naps, and a relaxed pace of life.
So when we look at these diverse regions, different continents, different cultures, what's the universal thread? What does this all mean when we connect the dots across these fascinating, distinct cultures?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the common keys that emerge across all blue zones are surprisingly consistent and deeply interconnected. You've got a plant-heavy, moderate diet, consistent low-intensity exercise integrated naturally into daily life, a strong sense of purpose, which is their version of Ikigai, and robust social ties, meaning a broad circle of friends, supportive family relations, and active community engagement.
It keeps coming back to purpose and connection.
It really does. Their lifestyle patterns consistently involve effective stress management techniques, whether through faith, communal activity, or simply a slower pace of life. They consume minimal amounts of meat and highly processed foods and enjoy moderate alcohol intake, often with meals, socially, and engage in daily low-intensity movement like walking and gardening. You see people in these zones prioritizing walking over driving. And gardening is almost ubiquitous, a sacred practice providing constant, gentle physical activity and a connection to nature.
It's truly all about integration, isn't it? It's not one magic pill or a single superfood, but a whole lifestyle, a web of interconnected habits that truly add up to a longer, more joyful, and fulfilling life. It's about making conscious choices. Okay, let's unpack this further and dive into some of those specific anti-aging secrets, beginning with a cornerstone of their dietary wisdom. So let's talk about one of the most intriguing dietary cornerstones from the blue zones, especially Okinawa, hara-hachi-bu. It sounds simple, but it seems profoundly impactful.
Indeed. Hara-hachi-bu is an ancient Japanese saying, and it translates quite literally to fill your belly to 80%. The wisdom behind it is simple, yet profoundly effective. It's about stopping eating when you're starting to feel full, not when you're completely stuffed and uncomfortable.
Right, not pushing it to the limit.
Exactly. It's a mindful approach to eating that prevents overeating, which in turn reduces metabolic strain on your body. Think of it like this. Your digestive system works hard, and constantly overloading it requires a tremendous amount of energy and can accelerate cellular oxidation, basically speeding up the wear and tear on your cells. By stopping at 80%, you give your body a much-needed break.
That makes so much sense. It's about listening to your body's subtle cues, those early signals of satiety, rather than just pushing past them because the food tastes good or it's still on your plate. Practically for us, this could mean something as simple as consciously skipping dessert sometimes, or reducing your portion sizes, maybe even just using smaller plates.
Smaller plates work wonders.
Right. The goal is to finish your meal feeling comfortably satisfied, but still with a slight, almost imperceptible sense of hunger. It's about moderation as a lifestyle, not a punishment.
And the Japanese serving tradition really facilitates this naturally. Food is often presented on many small, aesthetically pleasing plates. It makes it seem like you're consuming a grand feast, but you're actually encouraging less overall consumption. A typical Japanese restaurant meal, for example, might be served on 5 small dishes, each with distinct flavors and textures. This visual abundance encourages mindful eating, and is why Westerners often find themselves losing weight and staying trim effortlessly when living in Japan.
That visual trick is clever.
It is. And their daily caloric intake in Okinawa, for instance, averages a lean 1,800 to 1,900 calories. That's significantly lower than the 2,200 to 3,300 calories common in the United States. And their average BMI typically falls between 18 and 22 compared to 26 or 27 in the U.S.
That's a stark, almost unbelievable contrast. And beyond just the caloric intake, what are the core components of that Okinawan diet? What exactly are they putting into their bodies to achieve this level of health?
Their diet is remarkably consistent and nutrient-dense. It's rich in tofu, which is a staple protein, sweet potatoes, especially those purple Okinawan sweet potatoes packed with antioxidants, and fresh fish consumed about 3 times a week. Crucially, they consume ample vegetables, roughly 11 ounces per day, often grown in their own gardens. It's a diet heavily centered around whole, unprocessed foods. Now, from a medical perspective, eating less reduces levels of IGF-1, or insulin-like growth factor 1. This is a protein strongly linked to aging.
IGF-1, okay.
Think of IGF-1 like a growth accelerator in your body. While it's vital for development when you're young, consistently high levels later in life can speed up cellular aging and contribute to age-related diseases. By embracing Hachibu, they're naturally dialing down this accelerator, giving their cells a longer, more relaxed lifespan. Calorie restriction, when done with adequate nutrition, not malnutrition, offers a powerful protective effect against a range of chronic diseases. Obesity, type 2 diabetes, inflammation, hypertension, certain cancers. It allows the digestive system to rest and the body to operate more efficiently, diverting energy away from constant digestion and toward cellular repair and maintenance.
So for listeners in the West who might find a daily 80% rule a bit challenging to implement immediately, especially with our ingrained habits of larger portions, what's a practical, actionable alternative they could consider to gain some of these benefits?
Well, a well-known and scientifically supported alternative is the 5.2 diet, also known as intermittent fasting. This involves consuming fewer than 500 calories, or about 25% of your usual intake, for 1 or 2 non-consecutive days a week, and eating normally on the other 5 days. This structured approach helps cleanse the digestive system, promotes its rest and repair, and can kickstart some of those metabolic benefits without requiring constant 80% adherence every single meal. It's a way to give your body a periodic internal reset.
Okay, let's talk about the mind. We always hear that ancient Latin aphorism, mens sana in corpore sano, a sound mind in a sound body. It suggests a balance, right? But how does maintaining an active, adaptable mind really contribute to longevity, even beyond just physical exercise? What's the deeper connection there?
What's truly fascinating here is the direct, undeniable link. The health and vitality of your mind directly impact the health of your body. Maintaining an active, adaptable mind isn't just about being intellectually sharp. It's a crucial factor in staying biologically young, and it naturally drives healthier lifestyle choices. Think about it. Just as a lack of physical exercise leads to muscle atrophy, physical deterioration, and often a slump in mood, mental inactivity causes our neurons and neural connections to break down.
Use it or lose it, basically.
Exactly. Use it or lose it. This reduces our cognitive abilities, our reaction time, our overall ability to react effectively to our surroundings. Your brain, quite literally, needs a workout, just like your muscles do.
So our brains aren't just passive processors of information. They need constant engagement to stay vibrant. It makes perfect sense when you put it that way.
Absolutely. Neuroscientist Shlomo Bresnitz, who specializes in studying mental agility, highlights that the brain needs constant, varied stimulation. Humans, especially as we age, tend to fall into comfortable routines. And while routine has its place, the brain, in its efficiency, adapts by going on automatic pilot. This means it requires less conscious effort, sure, but it also means fewer new neural pathways are being forged. The only way to break these ingrained habits and truly revitalize the brain is to constantly confront it with new information, new challenges, novel experiences. This actively forces the creation of new neural connections, essentially rebuilding and strengthening the brain's infrastructure.
That's a powerful motivation to embrace change and step outside your comfort zone then. Even if it feels a little bit uncomfortable or causes a tiny bit of anxiety initially, that's actually the brain doing its work, building those new pathways. It's about choosing growth over mere comfort.
And the benefits of this mental training aren't just theoretical, they are scientifically demonstrated. Researchers like Collins Hemingway and Shlomo Bresnitz note that when you initially start a new task, it feels difficult, maybe even daunting. But as you learn and practice, it gets easier. And that progress doesn't just improve your skill, it fundamentally boosts your mood and self-image, fostering a sense of accomplishment. Simple mental exercises like engaging in stimulating conversations, learning a new language, playing challenging games, or even mastering a new hobby offer novel stimuli. These actively combat the social isolation and depression that can often accompany a lack of engagement, particularly in older age. Furthermore, consistent intellectual activity, a deep sense of curiosity, and a relentless desire to learn actively slow the aging of neurons, a process that, surprisingly enough, begins for many of us in our 20s.
Our 20s? Wow.
Yes, and a positive outlook on life, an optimistic mindset, amplifies these mental benefits, creating a virtuous cycle of well-being.
This sounds like a fantastic recipe for feeling young and vibrant, regardless of your chronological age. But on the flip side, we have to talk about one of the biggest silent killers of longevity in our modern world: stress. It's pervasive, and it's clearly doing us damage.
Stress is, without a doubt, a major cause of premature aging because it fundamentally causes the body to wear down much faster, especially during periods of chronic crisis.
Yep.
The American Institute of Stress has unequivocally concluded that the vast majority of common health problems are, at their root, stress-related. Scientific studies like those at Heidelberg University and the University of California have shown that chronic stress activates immune responses that are actually damaging to healthy cells, and it can prematurely age them by weakening telomeres.
Telomeres, right, those protective caps on our DNA.
Exactly. They're like the plastic tips on your shoelaces, but for your DNA, they protect your chromosomes from damage. When they shorten or weaken due to stress, cells age faster and lose their ability to replicate correctly. The greater the stress, the greater this degenerative effect on cellular health.
So it's not just a feeling. Stress has a tangible, damaging impact right down to our cells. How does this fight or flight response, which we hear so much about, actually work on a physiological level? And how has it changed from our ancestors to modern humans?
Well, when our brains perceive a threat, real or imagined, a rapid cascade occurs. Specific neurons activate the pituitary gland, which then releases hormones that trigger the release of adrenaline and cortisol from the adrenal glands. Adrenaline, the fight or flight hormone, rapidly increases heart rate, respiration, muscle readiness, prepping the body for immediate, intense action. Cortisol then steps in, increasing dopamine and blood glucose levels, giving us that sustained, charged-up feeling. Now, the critical difference between our cave-dwelling ancestors and modern humans is stark. Cave dwellers experienced acute, real threats, a saber-toothed tiger, a tribal conflict. This led to high, intense, but beneficial doses of these stress hormones, helping them survive immediate danger. Once the threat passed, their bodies returned to calm.
Back to baseline.
Back to baseline. Modern humans, however, live in a constant low-dose stress state. Think about it. The incessant ping of a phone, a never-ending stream of emails, constant notifications, a demanding boss, financial worries.
It never stops.
It never stops. This perpetual low-level flow of cortisol and adrenaline leads to chronic fatigue, persistent anxiety, impaired immune function, and a range of other health problems because the body is never truly allowed to return to a state of rest and repair.
That's a critical distinction, and it's quite alarming when you put it that way. While challenges are good for keeping our minds and bodies active and engaged, our modern high-stress lifestyles are clearly harmful. They accelerate aging in a way our bodies were never designed for. This sustained state of emergency negatively impacts memory neurons, inhibits hormones that prevent depression, leading to irritability, insomnia, chronic anxiety, high blood pressure. It's a silent epidemic.
This is precisely why prevention and effective coping mechanisms are key. And it's why so many longevity experts recommend practicing mindfulness. Its central premise is to consciously focus on the here and now, becoming fully conscious of our responses, even habitual ones, and disengaging from those spiraling thoughts about the past or future. Roberto Alcibar, a renowned mindfulness instructor, often uses the simple example of eating mindlessly. You might eat an entire meal without truly tasting it, savoring its textures, or even remembering details of the food.
Guilty as charged sometimes.
We all are. Mindfulness helps us turn off that autopilot and truly experience the present moment, which is where life actually happens.
So how can we, in our busy lives, practice mindfulness effectively? What are some practical ways to integrate it?
There are several accessible methods. These include formal meditation practices, focusing on controlled breathing exercises, practicing gentle yoga, or engaging in simple body scans where you systematically bring awareness to different parts of your body. Look, it's a gradual training process, not an instant fix. But with consistent practice, even for just a few minutes a day, you can learn to focus your mind completely. This dramatically reduces stress, improves emotional regulation, and ultimately helps you live longer and more joyfully. What's also surprising from recent research, though, is that while intense, sustained stress is undeniably detrimental, low levels of stress, when managed effectively, can actually be beneficial.
Wait, beneficial? How so?
Dr. Howard S. Friedman, a longevity researcher, found that people who face challenges, who put their heart and soul into their work, experiencing a low, manageable level of stress, actually lived longer than those who chose a more relaxed early retirement. These individuals tended to develop healthier habits, smoking less, drinking less, staying more engaged.
That's fascinating, this idea that low stress can be helpful. It kind of flies in the face of so much stress is bad messaging. Can you elaborate on what kind of low stress is helpful? How might a listener cultivate that without inviting burnout?
It's a crucial distinction. The harmful stress is chronic, uncontrollable, perceived as a threat without resolution. The beneficial low stress is actually challenge-based. It's the healthy tension of engagement, of pursuing a meaningful goal, learning something new, overcoming a solvable problem. It's the stress that comes from genuine purpose and focused effort. It keeps your mind sharp, motivates you to stay active, and often encourages healthier lifestyle choices because you need to be at your best to meet those challenges. Many supercentenarians, as we noted, report leading intense, full lives, working well into old age, but they approach those challenges with a positive, problem-solving attitude, not a victim mentality. So the takeaway isn't to eliminate all challenges or seek a life of absolute ease. It's to learn how to manage stress effectively, differentiate between harmful and motivating stress, and cultivate a mindset of resilient engagement.
Okay, next up, let's tackle the perils of sedentary living. This is something we're all probably guilty of, right? We've become a society that sits far, far too much, and it's deeply linked to serious health problems and reduced longevity. It's almost a silent killer lurking in our daily routines.
That's absolutely right, and the science is chilling. Gavin Bradley, a leading expert on the dangers of prolonged sitting, reveals just how detrimental it is to our physiology. Our metabolism, for instance, slows by a staggering 90% after just 30 minutes of continuous sitting.
90%.
90%. The enzymes responsible for moving bad fat from your arteries to your muscles where it can be burned for energy, they essentially slow to a crawl. And after just 2 hours of uninterrupted sitting, your good cholesterol, HDL, can drop by as much as 20%. But here's the most empowering part of his research. Just getting up for 5 minutes, stretching or walking around, can completely restart your metabolism and counteract these negative effects.
That's astonishingly quick, 5 minutes. Think about how many hours we spend sitting desks, couches, cars, often without a single break. My own desk chair feels like it's trying to fuse with me sometimes. It really highlights how far we've drifted from our natural state of movement, doesn't it? What's the easiest 5-minute reboot someone listening right now could try, even if they're stuck in, say, an office meeting?
Well, the easiest 5-minute reboot is literally just to stand up. If you can, walk to the water cooler, do a few simple stretches right at your desk, maybe walk a quick lap around your office floor, or step outside for a breath of fresh air if possible. It's really just about breaking that continuous sitting cycle. The physical impacts of prolonged sitting are severe and far-reaching. Reduced muscular and respiratory fitness, a significantly increased appetite, often leading to weight gain, a decreased desire for any physical activity.
It makes you want to sit more.
Exactly. It's a vicious cycle. Plus, increased risk of cardiovascular disease, osteoporosis, even certain types of cancer. Furthermore, this lack of consistent physical activity also directly distorts telomeres, those protective caps on your DNA, prematurely aging your cells at a fundamental level.
And this isn't just an adult problem, is it? It's impacting our youth too, setting them up for challenges later in life.
Precisely. Sedentary habits in children are directly linked to alarmingly high rates of childhood obesity and all its associated health risks. Type 2 diabetes, heart disease, starting at a surprisingly early age. It underscores the profound importance of developing an active lifestyle from childhood and maintaining it throughout life. It's not about being an athlete, it's simply about being in motion.
So what are some actionable steps you can take, starting today, to incorporate more gentle, consistent movement into your daily life? We're not talking about intense gym sessions here, but activities that add up and make a real difference.
Small, consistent changes truly make a colossal difference. First, make it a point to walk for at least 20 minutes daily. Maybe it's your commute, a leisurely stroll during a break, or a deliberate walk in the evening. Second, choose stairs over elevators or escalators whenever possible. It's an immediate, effective way to engage your leg muscles, improve posture, boost your respiratory system. Third, consciously engage in social or leisure activities that naturally reduce screen time, board games, gardening, walking with friends instead of just texting. Fourth, swap highly processed junk food for fruit. Better nutrients naturally reduces calorie intake. Fifth, aim for a consistent 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Interestingly, more than that can actually make you feel lethargic and less motivated to move.
That's counterintuitive.
It is, but it holds true for many. Sixth, actively play with children or pets or consider joining a local recreational sports team. These activities strengthen the body, stimulate the mind, and boost self-esteem through social interaction. And finally, become highly conscious of your daily routines. Identify and replace harmful sedentary habits with more positive active ones. Little swaps add up.
These small conscious changes can truly renew your body and mind, directly increasing your life expectancy and your quality of life. They might seem minor on their own, but accumulated over time, they are transformative. And speaking of renewal, let's delve into one of nature's best-kept anti-aging secrets: sleep.
Indeed. It's often overlooked in our fast-paced, always-on culture, but sleep is arguably the most powerful and accessible anti-aging tool we have. Think about professional models, for instance. They famously prioritize 9–10 hours of sleep before a major show to achieve that radiant, wrinkle-free skin. Science confirms this seemingly anecdotal observation is largely due to melatonin.
Melatonin, right.
It's a crucial hormone naturally produced by our pineal gland, deeply linked to our sleep and waking cycles. And melatonin isn't just a sleep aid, it's a powerful antioxidant that does so much more. Strengthens the immune system, protects against certain cancers, promotes natural insulin production, plays a role in slowing the progression of Alzheimer's, helps prevent osteoporosis, and actively fights heart disease by regulating blood pressure and cholesterol.
So it's like an internal elixir of youth doing vital repair work while we rest. But doesn't melatonin production naturally decrease as we age? I think I read that somewhere.
It does, unfortunately. After approximately age 30, our natural melatonin production begins a gradual decline. However, we can absolutely compensate for this. We can support healthy melatonin levels by maintaining a balanced, nutrient-rich diet, ensuring sufficient calcium intake, getting moderate, regular sun exposure daily that helps regulate our circadian rhythm. And crucially, by actively avoiding chronic stress, excessive alcohol consumption, tobacco, and caffeine, all of which significantly hinder restful sleep and thus your body's natural melatonin production. In fact, research is actively exploring artificial stimulation of melatonin production and its potential as a longevity secret. But for now, supporting your body's natural processes is the most effective strategy.
And finally, let's consider the immense power of our attitudes. Our mindset, our outlook on life has a tremendous, often underestimated impact on how quickly our bodies age and how resilient we are to life's inevitable challenges.
It's a consensus among medical professionals and longevity researchers. An active mind, a core element of Ikigai, is paramount to keeping the body young, along with the resilience to face difficulties head-on. A landmark study from Yeshiva University, examining the lives of the longest-living individuals, consistently found they shared two key traits: a fundamentally positive attitude and a high degree of emotional awareness. Those who face life's challenges with optimism and possess the ability to effectively manage their emotions are already, perhaps unknowingly, on a direct path to longevity. Furthermore, a stoic attitude, that sense of serenity and equanimity in the face of setbacks, also significantly lowers anxiety and chronic stress, stabilizing behavior and contributing to overall well-being. This unhurried, composed approach to life is consistently observed in cultures with longer life expectancies.
It's fascinating how consistent this is across various studies and cultures. Many centenarians and supercentenarians often report having led full, challenging, sometimes even difficult lives. But what sets them apart is their consistent approach. They face those challenges with an unwavering, positive attitude, refusing to be overwhelmed by adversity. Alexander Imish, who lived to 111, despite acknowledging he likely had good genes, emphasized that the life you live is equally or more important for longevity. This profoundly highlights that our conscious choices, our daily habits, and especially our mindset significantly impact our aging process and the quality of the life we lead. We've talked a lot about the physical aspects of longevity, the habits, the science, but what about the mental and spiritual aspects, the true wellspring of purpose? Let's delve into the profound search for meaning, starting with logotherapy. That's the powerful psychological school founded by the renowned Austrian neurologist and psychiatrist Viktor Frankl.
Viktor Frankl's logotherapy, yeah. In stark contrast to traditional psychoanalysis, it's not about dissecting past traumas or unconscious drives. Instead, its core is about helping people find compelling, life-affirming reasons to live. Frankl, having survived the unspeakable horrors of Auschwitz, would famously ask his patients, "Why do you not commit suicide?" A provocative question, sure, but designed to force them to identify their deepest values and motivations.
Confronting it head on.
Exactly. Logotherapy essentially pushes patients to consciously discover their unique life's purpose. And it is this profound sense of purpose that then motivates them to overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles and neuroses. Frankl himself was the living embodiment of his theory. His experiences as a prisoner in Auschwitz, witnessing countless deaths and unimaginable suffering, only solidified his belief that the ultimate human freedom is to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. His personal purpose, to rewrite a confiscated manuscript, a work on logotherapy itself, gave his life meaning amidst constant horror. It compelled him to jot down fragments of his ideas on any scrap of paper he could find, even under the most brutal conditions.
That's an incredible, almost unbelievable testament to the sheer power of purpose. It suggests that even in the bleakest of circumstances, finding a why can provide the strength to endure almost any how. So what were the key distinctions Frankl drew between his logotherapy and more traditional psychoanalysis?
Well, the differences were fundamental. In psychoanalysis, the patient typically reclines, focusing on the past, analyzing neuroses often seen as driven by pleasure, with a purely psychological, often deterministic focus. Frankl felt this was incompatible with the human spirit's potential for transcendent meaning or faith. Logotherapy, on the other hand, has the patient sit up, actively looking to the future. It doesn't primarily delve into neuroses, but helps individuals find and commit to a purpose and meaning. It deliberately includes a spiritual dimension, can work on what Frankl termed existential neuroses, that lack of meaning, and deals with conflicts as they arise in the present. Crucially, it's compatible with faith and actively seeks to satisfy moral principles and a higher calling, rather than just basic impulses or desires. It's about personal responsibility and finding meaning in contribution.
And this active, conscious search for purpose addresses what Frankl called existential frustration, right? That sense of void or emptiness.
Exactly. When life lacks a clear purpose, when individuals feel an inner emptiness, Frankl didn't see this as a mental illness in the traditional sense. He saw it as a spiritual anguish, a profoundly positive catalyst for change. He believed it's a necessary tension that drives individuals to seek a cure, to find greater satisfaction and fulfillment in life. It's like the inner alarm bell ringing, signaling that something essential is missing. As the philosopher Nietzsche so powerfully put it, he who has a why to live for can bear with almost anyhow.
Powerful words.
Our mental and emotional health, Frankl argued, comes from the dynamic tension between what we've achieved so far and what we still aspire to achieve. We need a challenge, a vision, something to strive for.
So this isn't about avoiding challenges or seeking a life of perfect ease, but about finding the right kind of challenge, the kind that gives our life direction and fills us with vital energy.
Precisely. The modern existential crisis often stems from living a life dictated by others' expectations, or desperately trying to fill an inner void with fleeting economic power, material possessions, or superficial pleasures. This can lead to profound emptiness, or even what Frankl calls Sunday neurosis, that profound emptiness and anxiety felt when the obligations of the work week vanish, leaving nothing but a stark confrontation with a lack of deeper meaning. This powerfully highlights the critical need to find your Ikigai, your unique, compelling reason for getting out of bed each morning. Discovering and committing to this purpose helps fill that void, allowing one to look back on life with a sense of peace and profound satisfaction, knowing they have truly lived for something meaningful.
Fascinating insights. And running parallel to logotherapy in Japan a few years earlier was Morita therapy. How does this unique Japanese approach to mental well-being compare and complement the search for purpose?
Shoma Morita, a prominent psychiatrist deeply influenced by Zen Buddhism, created this purpose-centered therapy in Japan around the same time. Unlike many Western therapies that primarily focus on controlling or eliminating distressing emotions, the think, feel, act model, Morita therapy teaches a radical acceptance of emotions without attempting to control them. Its fundamental premise is that feelings are not directly controllable. They change naturally as a result of our actions. It's not about suppressing symptoms, but about acknowledging desires, anxieties, fears, and then letting them go, allowing them to flow without resistance. Morita famously used the donkey fable, a donkey tied to a post, trapped not by the rope itself, but by its frantic, desperate attempts to escape.
Trying too hard makes it worse.
Exactly. Similarly, trying to fight or escape fears and suffering paradoxically makes us more trapped in them. The profound lesson: observe and welcome your feelings as they are, don't fight them. They're like weather patterns outside your direct control, but you can choose how you respond to them.
That sounds incredibly counterintuitive to our typical Western emphasis on fixing or getting rid of negative emotions. So what are the basic actionable principles of Morita therapy that we can apply?
There are 3 core principles that guide Morita therapy and can be profoundly impactful for anyone seeking inner peace and purpose. First, accept your feelings. If you find yourself grappling with obsessive thoughts, anxiety, or sadness, the instinct is often to try and control them, suppress them, or argue with them. Morita teaches that this only intensifies them. Emotions, like the weather, aren't something you can predict or control. They simply arise. The practice is to observe and welcome them without judgment. A beautiful phrase from Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh captures this perfectly. "Hello, solitude. How are you today? Come, sit with me, and I will care for you." It's about acknowledging, not fighting.
Sitting with it, okay.
Second, do what you should be doing. This is the action-oriented core. Don't waste energy trying to eliminate symptoms or over-intellectualizing your emotional state. True recovery and progress come from purposeful action, from engaging with life, character, meaning, fulfillment. They're built through doing, through courageous engagement, not through passive introspection alone. The therapy doesn't offer explanations for why you feel a certain way. It guides patients to learn from direct experience, from the consequences of their actions. Learn by doing. Exactly. And third, discover your life's purpose. While you cannot control your emotions directly, you can control your actions, your behavior, your chosen direction in life. Morita's mantra was intensely practical. What do we need to be doing right now? What action should we be taking? This requires turning inward, reflecting deeply, and actively looking for your Ikigai, that unique purpose that will guide your actions, regardless of your fluctuating emotional state. It's about choosing to act in alignment with your values and purpose.
So it's all about purposeful action over endless analysis when it comes to emotions. And that action is profoundly guided by your deeper reason for being. This also reminds me of the introspective approach of Nikken meditation, which has roots in the same Zen influence, right?
Yes, Nikken meditation, directly influenced by Morita's Zen background, uses a disciplined approach to self-reflection through 3 simple yet profoundly impactful questions. What have I received from X? What have I given to X? And what problems have I caused X? You apply this to individuals in your life, to your work, to society, even to nature. This rigorous self-responsibility, focusing on your own role and contributions, is a powerful tool for fostering gratitude, humility, and self-awareness. Ultimately, both logotherapy and Morita therapy, though from different cultural origins, powerfully point to the same vital mission. Finding your Ikigai, your existential fuel, that deep source of motivation. Once you find it, it requires courage, consistent effort, commitment to stay on that path, but the rewards are immeasurable.
So the question for you listening is, are you ready to throw yourself into your passion as if it were the most important thing in the world? Because that passion, that unwavering commitment, leads directly into our next powerful concept, finding flow in everything you do.
As the ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle wisely said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. This timeless wisdom perfectly sets the stage for understanding flow, the psychological state where doing becomes being.
I love that quote. It resonates so deeply. And flow is such a powerful, almost magical idea that many of us have experienced without necessarily naming it. Imagine you're skiing down a perfect, untouched slope. There's no future, no past, just the exhilarating present. Your body and consciousness feel completely united, almost like Bruce Lee's famous, "Be water, my friend." You're fully immersed.
Totally in the zone.
Totally in the zone. We've all felt it. Losing complete track of time while deeply engrossed in cooking a complex meal, getting lost in a captivating book, or perfectly riding a wave while surfing, time just seems to vanish. The opposite, of course, happens when you're forced to do something you dislike. Minutes drag into an eternity, like Einstein's humorous quip about putting your hand on a hot stove for a minute feeling like an hour versus sitting with a pretty girl for an hour feeling like a minute. Relativity of time.
This phenomenon, this state of optimal experience, is precisely what Hungarian-American psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi meticulously researched and termed flow. He describes it as a state of pleasure, delight, profound creativity, where you're so completely immersed in an activity that nothing else seems to matter. It's the state in which people are so involved in an activity that nothing else seems to matter. The experience itself is so enjoyable that people will do it even at great cost for the sheer sake of doing it. It's not just about happiness, it's about deep engagement.
And it's not exclusive to creative geniuses or extreme athletes, is it? It's something everyone can potentially tap into.
Not at all. Csikszentmihalyi found that the experience of flow is universal. It transcends ages, cultures, professions. You can find it from chess players completely absorbed in a game, to mathematicians lost in complex equations, to surgeons performing intricate operations. Whether they are in bustling New York or the serene villages of Okinawa, when you're in a state of flow, your mind is in this harmonious order, fully focused, without internal or external distractions. This focused attention brings clarity and a sense of effortless engagement, and there are specific conditions that make achieving it more likely. According to researcher Owen Schaefer, these include knowing precisely what to do, knowing how to do it, receiving clear feedback on how well you are doing, knowing where to go or the next steps, perceiving significant but achievable challenges, perceiving that you have the necessary skills to meet those challenges, and being completely free from distractions.
So, given these conditions, how can we strategically cultivate this flow state in our own lives? How do we move beyond just accidental moments of immersion?
Well, the first fundamental strategy is to choose a difficult but not too difficult task. This is what Csikszentmihalyi calls the Goldilocks zone. If a task is too easy, it leads rapidly to apathy, boredom, disengagement. If it's too difficult, you'll quickly feel overwhelmed, frustrated, and likely give up. The ideal is a task that's a slight stretch, something that pushes your current abilities just enough to be challenging but remains achievable. It aligns with your existing skills but demands a little more, leading to a profound feeling of growth and mastery, not just a sense of comfort.
So if you're a graphic designer, maybe you learn a new advanced software feature for your next project. If you're a programmer, perhaps you tackle a new programming language or framework. Or if you're a dancer, you might intentionally incorporate a challenging new sequence of moves into your routine. It's about adding that little something extra, a deliberate step that takes you just outside your immediate comfort zone. That deep pleasure you feel when you succeed, that effortless absorption, is a strong indicator that you're in tune with your Ikigai.
The second strategy is to have a clear, concrete objective. Think about why video games or sports are so naturally conducive to flow. Their objectives, rules, feedback loops are incredibly clear. You know precisely what you need to do to win, score, or progress. However, in the real world, objectives are often notoriously unclear or vague. A Boston Consulting Group study, for instance, found that employees' top complaint about their bosses was precisely this: an unclear team mission. Joe Iko, the visionary director of the MIT Media Lab, powerfully advocates for the compass over maps principle in our unpredictable modern world. He argues that a detailed, rigid map can quickly lead you astray when conditions change, but a good compass with a clear direction will always guide you effectively towards your objective.
So for you listening right now, if you're feeling a lack of focus, ask yourself, what's my clear, specific objective for today's studio session? How many words will I write in this next hour? What is my team's core mission for this quarter? Clarifying that North Star is essential.
But here's the crucial nuance, and it's a profound one. Once you know your objective, don't obsess over it once you begin the activity. Instead, focus entirely on the process of doing the work. Olympic athletes, for example, train for years with the ultimate objective of a medal. But when they are competing, they concentrate fiercely on the present moment, on the execution of their movements, not on the medal itself. This intense focus on the process helps them enter flow. Writer's block, for example, very often comes from obsessing over the finished novel, the perfect sentence, the grand vision, instead of simply taking the first small, manageable steps.
Getting overwhelmed before you even start.
Exactly. The solution is often to take just that first step, write a single word, begin the research. As Albert Einstein wisely observed, a happy man is too satisfied with the present to dwell on the future. Once you take those first deliberate steps, the initial anxiety about the outcome often dissipates, and you can fully enter the state of flow.
And the third strategy, perhaps the biggest modern challenge we all face, is to concentrate on a single task-defeating distraction. Our constant technological pings, notifications, emails, social media feeds, they are the single biggest obstacle to achieving deep work and flow in the 21st century. We're told we need to multitask, juggle many things at once, but scientific evidence overwhelmingly shows this is a myth. Multitasking doesn't save time. It actually reduces productivity by at least 60% and can temporarily lower our IQ by over 10 points.
60%, that's huge.
It is. Our brains don't truly multitask. They rapidly switch contexts between tasks, wasting enormous amounts of energy and cognitive overhead in the process, instead of doing one thing deeply and well.
And Stanford University studies even describe our current generation as suffering from an epidemic of multitasking. Researchers found that chronic multitaskers are actually more distracted by all stimuli, even irrelevant ones, compared to individuals who practice focused, single tasking. Their brains are less able to filter out noise. A recent Swedish study further links smartphone addiction in young adults to less sleep, less connection to school, and significantly higher rates of depression. What's truly fascinating is the stark contrast between a mind in flow and a mind in distraction. Flow brings a focused mind, living fully in the present, freedom from worry and anxiety, hours flying by unnoticed, a profound feeling of being in control, a sense of thorough preparation, and a clear, unburdened mind. Distraction, conversely, leads to a wandering mind, dwelling anxiously on the past or future, invading concerns and worries, endless minutes that drag on, a profound loss of control, a feeling of unpreparedness, constant mental blocks, exhaustion, and relentless self-criticism. It's a choice between these two states.
That's a powerful contrast, and it definitely resonates with my own experience of feeling mentally fried after a day of constant digital noise. So how can we actively train our brains to focus and reclaim our ability to enter that state of flow more easily? What are some actionable ideas for our listeners to combat this modern epidemic of distraction?
Okay, there are several practical, impactful steps you can implement immediately to train your brain for focus. First, establish a screen-free zone at the beginning and end of your day. Avoid looking at any screen for the first hour after waking and the last hour before sleep. This sets a calm tone for your mind. Second, for crucial tasks, turn off your phone entirely, or at the very least, activate Do Not Disturb mode. There's truly nothing more important than your chosen task during that dedicated time. Third, consider designating one day a week for technological fasting, like a digital detox on a Saturday or Sunday, to reset your attention span.
A tech Sabbath.
Exactly, a tech Sabbath. Fourth, if possible, work in environments with minimal distractions, like a quiet cafe without Wi-Fi or a library. Fifth, read and respond to emails only once or twice a day at fixed designated times rather than constantly checking your inbox. Treat it like a task, not a constant interruption. Sixth, try the Pomodoro technique. Commit to 25 minutes of highly focused work followed by a 5-minute break or maybe a 50-minute work block with a 10-minute rest. Use a timer to maintain this discipline. Seventh, create a small, intentional ritual to start your work sessions, maybe making a specific cup of tea, arranging your desk, and end them with a small deserved reward. Signals to your brain. Eighth, actively train your mind to return to the present moment through simple mindfulness exercises, meditation, or even just a conscious walk or swim, noticing your surroundings. Ninth, find a dedicated, distraction-free workspace that signals to your brain it's time to focus. And 10th, divide your activities into related tasks and assign them specific times and places. For example, research in the morning, writing in the afternoon, editing at night. Finally, bundle routine, administrative tasks like invoices or phone calls, and do them all at once during a dedicated block, rather than letting them interrupt your deep work.
These are incredibly practical, impactful changes that can help you reclaim your focus and enter that elusive state of flow more easily and consistently. It's about building new habits, one small step at a time. Now let's look at how this deep focus flow manifests in Japan itself through their legendary artisans and creators.
Japanese dedication is famously embodied in the word genbaru, meaning to persevere, to stay firm by doing one's best, or to hang in there. This intensity, bordering on an almost spiritual obsession with craftsmanship and diligence, is seen in every aspect of Japanese life, from meticulous rice farmers who treat each grain with reverence, to the quiet efficiency of convenience store workers. It's a cultural cornerstone.
And nowhere is this more evident than in the figure of the takumi, the master artisans with extraordinary manual skill, often honed over decades. Toyota, for instance, famously employs a handful of takumi who can literally make specific precision screws by hand better than any machine. And these individuals are incredibly rare, almost impossible to replace, making their knowledge invaluable. Similarly, the last turntable needle producers in the world are still in Japan, tirelessly working to pass on their unique, disappearing knowledge to a new generation.
We actually witnessed this Ganbaru and Takumi spirit firsthand in a deeply moving way with a Kumano makeup brush Takumi in Japan. Tucked away in a small, almost unassuming room, a woman, masked and utterly absorbed, meticulously sorted individual bristles for the brushes. Her movements were graceful, precise, incredibly quick, a testament to decades of practice. Every single bristle of every brush passed through her hands, sorted by feel, subtle variations. Her eyes, even behind the mask, glinted with this profound sense of pride and happiness when she briefly spoke about her work. She was in a deep, almost meditative state of flow, a living example of Ikigai.
It's no wonder Steve Jobs was so utterly fascinated by Japan and its culture then. He visited Sony factories, drawing immense inspiration for Apple's design philosophy, and was particularly captivated by the exquisite simplicity, quality, and aesthetic of Japanese porcelain.
His devotion was particularly strong for Yukio Shakanaga, a master takumi from Toyama, one of the few remaining artisans who knew the ancient Echu Setoyaki pottery technique. Jobs bought many of his pieces, returning multiple times, engaging Shakanaga with countless probing questions about every single step of the fabrication process. Shakanaga was a true takumi, in that he even extracted his own white porcelain clay from local mountains, making him intimately familiar with the entire process, from the raw material's origin to its final, refined form. Jobs was so impressed he even considered visiting the mountain himself.
Wow, dedication.
Incredible dedication. For his very last purchase from Shakunaga, Jobs requested a new style of teacup. In response, Shakunaga, with the dedication of a true master, crafted 150 teacups just to find the best 12 that met Jobs' exacting vision. This echoes the dedication of Jiro from the famous Sushi documentary and Shakunaga. They both start work at the source, the fish market, or the mountains, becoming one with the object they create. This unity reflects the indigenous Shinto belief that nature and objects have a kami, or spirit, infusing them with life.
So the common thread in Japanese craft, engineering, philosophy, cuisine, it's the sophisticated simplicity. It's not about being lazy or taking shortcuts. It's about relentlessly pushing frontiers, taking things to the next level through the lens of Ikigai. The key, as Csikszentmihalyi would say, is always a meaningful challenge pursued with dedication.
And Jiro Dreams of Sushi beautifully and movingly illustrates this concept of Ikigai and flow. Jiro Ono, now well over 90 years old, still makes sushi daily in his tiny revered restaurant, personally selecting every piece of fish. His apprentice has spent years, sometimes a decade or more, perfecting a single element, like the tamago, the egg omelet. They don't get bored because making sushi isn't just a job, it's their life's purpose, their Ikigai. Through this singular dedication, they achieve a profound state of flow. Their quiet, peaceful restaurant environment, free from distractions, is meticulously designed to foster this concentration, prioritizing good working conditions and the pursuit of flow over rapid expansion or mere monetary gain.
And then there's Hayao Miyazaki, the revered animated film director, co-founder of Studio Ghibli. He's another living artist who profoundly embodies Ikigai. His films often explore complex themes of conflict and eventual unity between humans, technology, and nature, often reflecting deep Shinto values.
Miyazaki's dedication is legendary, almost monastic. He famously uses an old, simple cell phone, eschews modern digital tools, insists his team draw every frame by hand, believing it captures the soul of the animation. He achieves his flow by drawing every minute detail himself, often working alone in the studio on Sundays, completely absorbed, losing himself in the world he creates. Visitors to Studio Ghibli know not to bother him, especially when he's drawing. It's a sacred, focused space. In 2013, he famously announced his retirement from feature films, but a subsequent documentary showed him drawing constantly, even on holidays. He later clarified, stating he would make more feature films, but would keep on drawing until the day he died. This is oxygen.
That's a powerful statement. It makes you wonder, can someone truly retire when they are so fundamentally passionate about what they do? It seems their Ikigai compels them to continue, to create, to engage, regardless of age. This sounds wonderful for masters of craft, but what about those mundane, everyday tasks that fill so much of our lives? Laundry, mowing the lawn, paying bills. Can we find flow even there? This is where the concept of microflow comes in, and it's incredibly practical.
Absolutely. The Shinjuku supermarket elevator operator in Tokyo is a perfect, almost poetic example. She's been doing the same job since 2004, always greeting customers with an unwavering smile and infectious enthusiasm. Her secret is that she transforms a simple, repetitive job into a graceful, almost choreographed dance, performing a precise sequence of movements, elegant greetings, perfectly timed bows. This is microflow. It's her way of infusing meaning and artistry into the seemingly trivial. When we're not sufficiently challenged by our environment, we often get bored, and our minds naturally seek to add complexity or engagement to amuse ourselves, like doodling during a boring meeting or whistling a tune while doing dishes. This inherent human ability to transform routine, even mundane tasks, into moments of enjoyment and focused engagement is absolutely crucial for overall happiness and well-being.
It's amazing how a simple shift in mindset can elevate the ordinary. Even Bill Gates, one of the world's busiest men, has publicly stated that he washes dishes nightly. He enjoys it, finds it relaxing, and actually tries to do it better each time, following his own internal rules. That's his daily microflow, a moment of intentional, focused activity. And Richard Feynman, the Nobel laureate physicist, famous for his brilliant mind, also sought microflow. He enjoyed routine tasks like painting his office walls or soldering circuits when he wasn't immersed in complex physics, using these tasks as a way to rest his mind while still engaging it productively.
The profound point here is not what you do, but how you do it. What mundane tasks in your life can you infuse with microflow? Can folding laundry become a meditative exercise in precision? Can your commute become a moment of mindful observation? It's about finding that personal ritual and intentional engagement in everything, no matter how small.
And training your mind can actually help you get to this place of flow more quickly, almost like an instant vacation from the relentless chatter of daily life. This brings us to the power of meditation and rituals.
Meditation is arguably one of the most powerful ways to exercise our mental muscles and train the mind to achieve a state of flow on demand. Its core objective is to calm the mind, observe thoughts and emotions without judgment, and center your focus on a single object, most commonly, the breath. Even a short, consistent session can bring profound clarity, reduce mental clutter, and enhance your ability to focus throughout the day. The 1988 Olympic gold medalist in archery, for example, attributed much of her success to meditating 2 hours daily, considering it the most important part of her training regimen, even more than physical practice.
2 hours a day.
Serious commitment. Meditation is an excellent antidote to the constant, fragmented distractions of our smartphone-driven world. The goal isn't to achieve some mystical nirvana, but simply to focus on the journey, to observe thoughts as they pass without getting caught up in them, and to return gently to the present moment. Consistent practice generates relaxing alpha and theta brainwaves, promoting a state of calm alertness. As the book beautifully puts it, we all carry a spa with us everywhere we go. It's just a matter of knowing how to get in, something anyone can do with a bit of practice.
And how do daily rituals, which are so pervasive in Okinawan culture and Japanese society, fit into this concept of achieving flow?
Humans are inherently ritualistic beings. Throughout history, activities vital for survival, hunting, cooking, farming, were naturally structured as rituals, infusing them with meaning and purpose beyond mere necessity. In modern Japan, rituals permeate daily life and business, from the meticulous tea ceremony to the precise way business cards are exchanged. Here, the process and the manners are often considered more important than the final result itself. Rituals provide clear rules, defined steps, concrete objectives, creating a structured path that naturally helps us enter a state of flow. They break down what might seem like big, overwhelming goals into manageable, purposeful sub-steps, making the entire journey more accessible and enjoyable.
So the key is to focus on enjoying your daily rituals, to consciously use them as tools to enter a state of flow. Don't worry about the outcome. It will come naturally as a byproduct of your focused engagement. Happiness is truly in the doing, in the process, not in the result. As a powerful rule of thumb, remind yourself, rituals over goals. It's a complete shift in perspective. The happiest people are not necessarily the ones who achieve the most external success, but rather they are the ones who spend more time than others immersed in that blissful state of flow.
And this profound connection directly leads to how you can actively use the concept of flow to identify and cultivate your personal Ikigai.
All right, we want to give you a very practical exercise here. Take a few minutes, maybe after this deep dive, and write down all the activities that make you personally enter a state of flow. What are those moments where time seems to disappear, where you feel completely absorbed and energized? Then, with that list in front of you, ask yourself these crucial questions. What do these activities have in common? Why do those specific activities, and not others, create that unique sense of flow for you? Are they solitary or social? Primarily physical or mental? Do they involve creativity, analysis, connection?
The answers you uncover from this self-reflection will often directly reveal your underlying Ikigai, your deepest values, your true passions. If the answers don't immediately leap out, that's perfectly fine. It simply means you need to keep exploring new activities that share common threads with the ones that already bring you flow. For instance, if photography brings you profound flow, perhaps trying painting or sculpting might lead to similar insights. If you love the flow of snowboarding, maybe surfing or rock climbing will also resonate. The pursuit itself is part of the discovery. Remember, as the authors wisely conclude, flow is mysterious. It is like a muscle. The more you train it, the more you will flow and the closer you will be to your Ikigai. It's a lifelong journey of joyful discovery.
Truly transformative. Let's shift gears now and hear directly from the masters of longevity, the supercentenarians themselves. These are individuals who've not only lived a long time, but have thrived for over a century, offering profound wisdom.
The term supercentenarian was actually coined in 1970 for people living to 110 years or more. It's an incredibly rare achievement. Globally, there are only about 300 to 450 individuals estimated to have reached this age, with roughly 75 confirmed cases at any given time. They're not mythical superheroes, but rather living, breathing examples of what's possible when a healthy and purposeful life is cultivated over decades. They demonstrate that longevity isn't just about genes, but about a profound commitment to living.
Let's hear some of their direct wisdom. Misao Kawa, who lived to an astounding 117 years old in Japan, famously offered a simple secret. Eat and sleep, and you'll live a long time. You have to learn to relax. But she elaborated that her true secret was also a tremendous thirst for life, a boundless curiosity that kept her engaged until her final days. Then there's Maria Capovilla from Ecuador, who lived to 116. She had a simple dietary rule: I've never eaten meat in my life. Beyond diet, she was renowned for being happy, constantly giving thanks, and she absolutely loved to dance the waltz and do crafts, even remembering her prayers with clarity. She danced with an energy that made her seem decades younger, demonstrating that vitality isn't just about movement, but about joy in movement.
And Jeanne Calment, France, famously the oldest verified person in history, lived to an incredible 122 years old. She was fiercely independent, famously rode a bicycle until she was 100, lived alone until 110, and even quit smoking at the astonishing age of 120.
Quit smoking at 120, that's commitment.
Incredible, right? Her enduring secret beyond genetics was her incredible sense of humor and resilience. At 120, she famously quipped, "I see badly, I hear badly, and I feel bad, but everything's fine." Love that attitude.
Yeah.
Walter Bruning of the USA, who lived to 114, insisted on the power of engagement. If you keep your mind and body busy, you'll be around a long time. He had a disciplined approach, ate only 2 meals a day, worked 50 years on the railroad, and incredibly exercised daily, even at 112. He also emphasized helping others and faced death with remarkable equanimity. You're born to die.
And then Alexander Imich, who lived to 111 from Poland in the USA, never drank alcohol, and when famously asked his secret, simply stated with a twinkle in his eye, "I just haven't died yet." What stands out here across all these incredible individuals is that they weren't necessarily doing extraordinary, complex things. They were living with remarkable intentions, simplicity, and purpose, day in and day out. Their lives were their masterpiece.
And this wisdom, this deep sense of Ikigai, isn't exclusive to supercentenarians. You find it in countless people of advanced age who embody Ikigai by simply refusing to retire in the traditional sense. Instead, they continue carrying the torch of their passion throughout their lives. Art in all its myriad forms, painting, sculpture, music, writing, animation, is a profound manifestation of Ikigai, bringing not just personal happiness, but often immense purpose and contribution to the community. As the book notes, enjoying or creating beauty is free and something all human beings have access to.
That's a beautiful expression of lifelong learning and growth. And we see this commitment to mastery in so many artists. Take Hokusai, the iconic Japanese artist who created the Great Wave off Kanagawa and lived to 88. He famously said at 73 that he felt he was somewhat beginning to understand the structure of true nature, and with incredible humility hoped that at 110, all that I do, every point and every line, shall be instinct with life. That's a lifelong pursuit of excellence.
It's truly inspiring. And we see this relentless drive and passion in so many contemporary artists as well, as highlighted by journalist Camille Sweeney's interviews for the New York Times. Christopher Plummer, the legendary actor, still acting robustly at 86, famously quipped, "We want to drop dead on stage." That would be a nice theatrical way to go.
Yeah.
Osamu Tezuka, the revered father of modern manga, whose boundless creativity gave us Astro Boy and Kimba the White Lion, worked until his very last breath. His final words, spoken while still drawing, were a desperate plea. "Please, just let me work."
Wow.
Frederick Wiseman, an 86-year-old filmmaker known for his meticulous, lengthy documentaries, still works with astounding intensity, observing candidly that everybody complains about their aches and pains, but my friends are either dead or are still working, implying work itself is life. And Carmen Herrera, the Cuban-American painter who lived to 100 and only sold her first canvas at 89, simply stated, "I'm always waiting to finish the next thing. I go day by day." Their passion fuels them.
T.H. White's profound quote, "There is only one thing for it, then, to learn. That is the only thing which the mind can never exhaust, never alienate, never be tortured by, never fear or distrust, and never dream of regretting," perfectly encapsulates this idea of lifelong engagement. It's about finding that endless wellspring of curiosity.
Exactly. Edward O. Wilson, the celebrated naturalist and author, felt that even at 70, he finally had enough accumulated experience and wisdom to begin addressing the big questions of life and science. And Ellsworth Kelly, a pioneering abstract artist who lived to 92, passionately believed that losing one's faculties with age is a myth. Instead, he argued, we gain greater clarity and observational power. Every day I'm continuing to see new things. That's why there are new paintings, he asserted. It's a testament to the power of continuous learning and observation.
And Frank Gehry, the revolutionary architect at 86, reminds us that long, complex projects like designing and constructing buildings, which can take years, inherently foster patience and a long-term perspective. His secret, he shared, is living firmly in the here and now. You stay in your time, stay curious about everything, you will automatically be in your time. It's about being present with your passion.
What's consistent across all these remarkable stories, from the supercentenarians to the Ikigai artists, is that a clear, deeply held purpose, or Ikigai, relentlessly guides these individuals. It pushes them to create beauty, utility, meaning, not just for themselves, but for their communities and for humanity, regardless of their chronological age. Their lives become a testament to the enduring power of passion and purpose.
Let's transport ourselves now, maybe through a guided visualization, to Ogimi, the very village of longevity that captured the author's imagination. Let's truly immerse ourselves in their daily lives to understand, at a granular level, how the Ikigai lifestyle is lived, breathed, and celebrated.
The authors describe their arrival in Ogimi as an experience where time itself seemed to slow down, almost to stop, allowing them to live in an endless here and now. The journey itself was a transition. Winding roads through lush, mountainous Yanbaru jungle, past serene, empty beaches and the vibrant sea. Upon arriving in this remarkable village, they were welcomed by warm, lively residents like Tara and Yuki at the local Center for the Support and Promotion of Well-Being.
And what immediately stood out to them, beyond the natural beauty, were the moai, those informal groups of people with common interests who function almost like extended family, providing lifelong social, emotional, even financial support without formal contracts. It's a deep, unspoken bond. Plus, the profound emphasis on volunteer work and communal contribution. Everyone, from the youngest to the oldest, feels useful, needed, deeply integrated into the fabric of the community. It's an antidote to modern isolation.
Communal life is indeed central to their longevity. There are very few formal restaurants, but a rich, vibrant social life thrives in the community centers. The town is meticulously divided into 17 distinct neighborhoods, each with its own leaders responsible for organizing cultural activities, festivals, social gatherings, and initiatives specifically aimed at promoting longevity. Yuki, who at 88 was still actively driving, famously encapsulates their philosophy. Food won't help you live longer. The secret is smiling and having a good time. It underscores the emotional and social aspects over strict dietary adherence.
I love that. It's so simple, yet so profound. And you mentioned the deep respect for nature is palpable, represented by the Bunagaya spirits of the Yambaru jungle, those magical, mischievous sprites they believe inhabit the natural world, symbolizing their deep connection to their environment. And imagine their birthday parties. Even for those turning 99, 94, and 89, they were filled with joyous singing, delicious homemade shikuwasa cake, spontaneous dancing with an energy that rivaled 20-somethings. They even played gateball, a low-impact sport that's simply an excuse to move, laugh, and have fun together. The authors themselves were playfully defeated by a spry 104-year-old woman.
Spirituality is also an absolutely essential interwoven thread. Rikyu Shinto, Okinawa's main religion, is a unique blend of Taoism, Confucianism, Buddhism, Shinto, and ancient shamanistic and animistic elements. They hold a profound belief in infinite spirits, called kami, residing in nature. In their homes, the forest, ancient trees, majestic mountains, all appeased through daily rituals and respectful living. They have sacred utaki, simple stone collections where spirits gather, and uganju, small open-air temples for prayer. Women hold a unique respected position as yuta, or mediums, serving as spiritual guides. And the practice of ancestor worship with butsuda and altars in homes reinforces their deep connection to past generations and their place in the ongoing stream of life.
It's a truly holistic, interconnected way of life that values every aspect of existence. And there's a powerful, almost manifesto-like inscription on a statue of a Bunargaya in Ogimi that beautifully summarizes their philosophy. A direct invitation for us all to adopt their mindset. It reads, "At 80, I am still a child. When I come to see you at 90, send me away to wait until I'm 100. The older, the stronger. Let us not depend too much on our children as we age. If you seek long life and health, you are welcome in our village, where you will be blessed by nature, and together we will discover the secret to longevity." It's an invitation to a different way of living.
That declaration truly captures their indomitable spirit and their philosophy of continuous engagement. The authors conducted over 100 interviews with Ogimi centenarians and supercentenarians, revealing an incredible consistency in their life, philosophies, and daily habits. Let's delve into their direct wisdom. First, and perhaps most importantly, their core message is, don't worry. They advise the secret to a long life is not to worry, and to keep your heart young. Open your heart to people with a nice smile. The best way to avoid anxiety is to go out in the street and say hello to people. It's not just a philosophical decree. It's deeply interwoven with their communal structure and daily rhythms. Imagine knowing that if your crop fails, your Moai group will pitch in. If you fall ill, your neighbors and friends are there. This inherent social safety net, coupled with a focus on simple, present living and genuine human connection, naturally diminishes the very source of much Western anxiety. Their lives aren't stress-free, but they have built-in resilience and communal support that diffuse individual burdens.
That's a profound difference from our often isolated, individualistic approach. It makes anxiety feel less like a personal failure and more like a shared experience that can be navigated together.
Exactly. Second, they emphasize, cultivate good habits. Their daily rituals are key. Many wake at 6 to check their vegetable gardens, often described as their literal Ikigai, their reason for getting up. Others get up at 4 for coffee and specific arm exercises. They eat a little bit of everything, prioritizing variety, and they emphasize working. If you don't work, your body breaks down, they say. Keeping fingers busy with crafts or chores is key to staying mentally sharp. Daily walks and light Taiso exercises are common communal practices. Ancestor worship with incense is a daily ritual connecting them to heritage and providing comfort.
Third, and this ties right back into the first point, nurture your friendships every day. This isn't just a suggestion, it's a lifeline. Getting together with my friends is my most important Ikigai, they say, highlighting that connection fuels their very existence. They deeply value knowing they'll see their friends daily, regularly chatting, drinking tea, singing with neighbors. Going from place to visit people, making time for personal connection is considered a vital secret to their long and happy lives. It's proactive friendship.
Fourth, a beautifully simple philosophy. Live an unhurried life. Their secret is consciously saying to themselves, slow down and relax. They firmly believe you live much longer if you're not in a hurry, not rushing through life, but instead doing one thing at a time without getting overwhelmed. They find deep satisfaction in enjoying each season peacefully, and crafts like wicker making or weaving, requiring patience and presence, serve as powerful examples of their unhurried Ikigai.
And finally, fifth, the overarching attitude that permeates everything. Be optimistic. They declare, every day I say to myself, today will be full of health and energy, live it to the fullest. They truly feel young at 98, with so much to do, and emphasize laughter as the most important thing for health and happiness. They have a clear motivation to live to 100 and beyond, finding immense joy in dancing and singing with their grandchildren, considering it the best thing in life. They consistently express feeling fortunate and giving thanks for their blessings. Their ultimate distilled takeaway, a beautiful summary of their simple philosophy. There's no secret to it. The trick is just to live.
It's an inspiring, actionable blueprint for living, isn't it? To summarize the Ogimi lifestyle for direct implementation by you, our listeners, here are some key observations. 100% of the interviewees have vibrant vegetable gardens, fresh food, daily gentle movement. All belong to neighborhood associations or moai, feeling deeply cared for like family. Frequent celebrations filled with music, song, dance are not just occasional events but essential, regular parts of their social fabric. They have important life purposes, their Ikigai, but remain remarkably relaxed and genuinely enjoy what they do without stress or obsession. They are fiercely proud of their traditions and local culture, strong sense of identity and belonging. There's a palpable passion for all tasks, however seemingly insignificant, infused with microflow. They demonstrate strong uimaru, mutual connection and aid, constantly helping each other with farm work, building projects, municipal initiatives. And crucially, they're always busy with relaxing tasks. No one is idle. It's a beautiful, intricate tapestry of interconnectedness, purposeful living, and profound joy.
Now, let's look even closer at the actual diet that fuels this Ikigai, the Okinawa Miracle Diet. It's not just about what they don't eat, but what they actively embrace.
Japan consistently holds the highest life expectancy in the world. Men average 85, women 87.3 years, according to WHO data. And Okinawa, remarkably, even exceeds this impressive national average. There are several unique factors contributing to Okinawa's exceptional health. For instance, the general lack of trains on the island naturally promotes walking and cycling as primary modes of transport, building consistent low-intensity movement into daily life. Additionally, Okinawa is the only Japanese province that consistently follows Japan's low-salt recommendation of under 10 grams per day, crucial for cardiovascular health. This commitment to reduce sodium, combined with their overall diet, results in Okinawa having the lowest cardiovascular disease mortality rate in all of Japan.
That's a clear link. So, what are the specifics of this miracle diet based on the meticulous studies by cardiologist Makoto Suzuki and the groundbreaking research in the Okinawa program? What can we learn from their plates?
Well, their findings are compelling and provide a practical guide. First, variety is key. Okinawan centenarians regularly eat an astounding 206 different foods, averaging about 18 distinct foods daily, a stark contrast to our often monotonous fast food-centric culture. This diversity ensures a wide range of nutrients. Second, they literally eat the rainbow, consuming at least 5 servings, or an incredible 7 distinct types, of fruits and vegetables daily. These form over 30% of their total caloric intake. Staples include a vast array of local vegetables, those purple sweet potatoes, various legumes, and abundant tofu. Third, grains as foundation. White rice is eaten daily, serving as a clean, consistent energy source. Fourth, they consume low sugar and salt. On average, only 1/3 the sugar and half the salt of the rest of Japan. Their overall average daily caloric intake is a lean 1,785 calories. Low caloric intake is common across all blue zones. Finally, fish is eaten about 3 times a week, providing healthy fats and protein. And pork, surprisingly, is consumed about 1 to 2 times a week, usually in small portions, often slow-cooked to render out fat.
And this brings us back powerfully to hara hachibu, the 80% rule, which you mentioned is absolutely paramount for Okinawans. It's not just a dietary guideline, it's a philosophy of mindful consumption.
Yes. Hara Hachibu isn't a suggestion, it's a deeply ingrained practice. It's about stopping when you're starting to feel full, not completely stuffed and uncomfortable. For us, this might mean a conscious effort to skip that tempting dessert or simply reduce portion sizes. The goal, as the Okinawans understand it, is to finish your meal feeling comfortably satisfied, but still with that slight, almost imperceptible sense of hunger. The physical environment supports this. Portion sizes in Japan are naturally smaller, and food often served on many small plates subtly encourages eating less while still experiencing a varied, satisfying meal. This ancient practice, even advised in 12th century Zen Buddhism, recognized the profound benefits of limiting caloric intake for health and mental clarity.
So, eat less to live longer seems to be a consistent and undeniable theme across almost all longevity research in blue zone populations.
Indeed. Caloric restriction, when practiced mindfully and without resulting in malnutrition, appears to be one of the most consistent ways to increase longevity across species. It functions by reducing overall metabolic strain on the body and specifically lowering levels of IGF-1, that insulin-like growth factor. As we discussed, by keeping IGF-1 levels lower, the body cells are less prone to rapid growth and focus more on maintenance and repair, slowing the aging process at a cellular level. This reduction offers a powerful protective effect against a wide range of chronic diseases: obesity, type 2 diabetes, inflammation, hypertension, various cancers. For Western listeners finding daily hara hachibu challenging, the 5.2 intermittent fasting diet, with 2 days of limited calories per week, is a practical, effective alternative for cleansing and resting the digestive system, providing many similar benefits.
Beyond just caloric intake, what about the specific power foods in the Okinawan diet packed with natural antioxidants? What are these cellular superheroes doing for them?
Antioxidants are truly vital. They are molecules that help slow cellular oxidation, that damaging process, by neutralizing unstable molecules called free radicals that cause aging and disease. The Okinawan diet is exceptionally rich in these. While there are many, 15 key Okinawan foods stand out for their high antioxidant content: tofu, miso, tuna, carrots, goya, bitter melon a staple, kombu, sea kelp, cabbage, nori, seaweed, onions, soy sprouts, hechima, a cucumber-like gourd, soybeans, the powerful sweet potato, peppers, and the ubiquitous sanpincha, jasmine tea.
Sanpincha seems to be Okinawa's reigning infusion, almost like a national drink. What are its specific benefits?
Sanpincha is much more than just a refreshing beverage. It's a unique blend of green tea and jasmine flowers, widely popular, even found in vending machines across the island. Studies show it helps reduce blood cholesterol, significantly strengthens the immune system, acts as a natural stress reliever, and helps lower overall cholesterol levels. Okinawans typically drink about 3 cups daily. Green tea itself, the base, has been used for centuries for its medicinal properties, now scientifically confirmed. It contains powerful antioxidants called polyphenols, improves circulation, protects against flu viruses, promotes bone health, protects against UV damage, and acts as a powerful systemic cleanser. Even more potent is white tea. It's considered the natural product with the greatest antioxidant power of all teas. 1 cup of white tea can contain the antioxidant power equivalent to about a dozen glasses of orange juice.
Wow, and what about the powerful shikuwasa fruit? It sounds like a secret weapon of longevity.
The shikuwasa is Okinawa's signature citrus fruit, and Ogimi, the village of longevity, is its largest producer. It's small, highly acidic, but don't let its size fool you. It's packed with a unique flavonoid called nobiletin, an astounding 40 times more than oranges. Nobiletin has been extensively studied for its protective effects against arteriosclerosis, various cancers, type 2 diabetes, and obesity. It's also incredibly rich in vitamin C and B1, beta-carotene, and a wealth of essential minerals. They even creatively incorporate it into their diet, like in shikawasa cake.
So for our Western listeners, what's an antioxidant canon? A practical list of readily available foods that can help combat aging and infuse their diet with these powerful health benefits.
Okay, to actively combat aging and enhance your vitality, focus on incorporating these readily available antioxidant powerhouses. Prioritize vegetables like broccoli and chard for their abundant water, minerals, fiber. Integrate oily fish like salmon and tuna for the rich omega-3s. Fruits like citrus, strawberries, apricots are excellent for vitamins and toxin elimination. Berries like blueberries and goji berries are bursting with phytochemical antioxidants. Dried fruits offer concentrated vitamins and sustained energy. Whole grains like oats and wheat provide energy and crucial minerals. Incorporate high-quality olive oil for its powerful antioxidant effects, especially for skin. And red wine, consumed in strict moderation, has well-documented antioxidant benefits. Simultaneously, to maximize benefits, consciously work to eliminate refined sugar and grains, processed baked goods, prepared convenience foods, and excessive cow's milk and derivatives. By making these shifts, you will not only feel younger and more energetic, but also significantly slow down premature aging at a cellular level.
Beyond diet, let's explore the crucial importance of gentle, consistent movements for a longer, healthier life, drawing from the profound wisdom of Eastern practices. It's not about intense workouts, it's about integration.
Blue Zone's data consistently reinforces a profound truth. The longest living people aren't necessarily those who engage in intense, high-impact exercise. Instead, they're the ones who move the most throughout their day, consistently and naturally. Okinawan centenarians exemplify this beautifully. They're highly active, walking everywhere, singing karaoke, dancing at community events, extensive gardening, but you won't find them in gyms lifting heavy weights or running marathons. Their movement is constant, low intensity, seamlessly integrated into daily routines.
And this brings us back to Gavin Bradley's insights on the dangers of prolonged sitting, how it dramatically slows metabolism by 90% after just 30 minutes and drops good cholesterol. Even just getting up for 5 minutes, as we discuss, restarts your metabolism. It powerfully highlights our modern dilemma. Many of us spend entire days without even raising our arms above our ears, glued to computers and phones, unlike our ancestors who naturally move through full ranges of motion. Our bodies are designed for movement.
This is precisely where Eastern disciplines shine as powerful elixirs of youth. Practices like yoga, qigong, tai chi have been refined and proven for centuries to balance body, mind, soul. They are scientifically endorsed for health benefits and are particularly appropriate and accessible for all ages, including older individuals. They have clear, defined steps and postures, which, as we discussed, are excellent for naturally finding and maintaining flow. Beyond flow, disciplines like Tai Chi are proven to slow osteoporosis and Parkinson's symptoms, increase circulation, improve muscle tone and flexibility, and act as a powerful shield against stress and depression. The message is clear. You don't need intense gym workouts. You need consistent, gentle movement integrated into your daily rhythm.
So for our listeners eager to incorporate these Eastern practices, what are some of these key movements and disciplines we can explore?
Let's start with Radio Taiso. This is Japan's national morning warm-up, a cherished tradition since before WWII. Initially transmitted by radio, now on TV internet, it promotes unity, commonly practiced in groups in schools, businesses, community centers. An astounding 30% of Japanese people practice it regularly, and almost everyone in Ogimi, even those in wheelchairs, participates daily. It's a low-intensity, 5 to 10-minute dynamic stretching routine focusing on joint mobility, especially movements like raising arms above the head. Simple but vital movements often neglected in our sedentary lives. Accessible to everyone.
And then there's yoga, the ancient practice from India, which has become incredibly popular globally, including in Japan and the West.
Yoga aims to unite the mental and physical elements of our being, guiding us toward a healthy lifestyle in harmony with ourselves and the world. Its main objectives are to connect us more deeply to our human nature, achieve mental-physical purification, and connect us to a spiritual or divine dimension. There are various styles, each with a different emphasis. Jnana wisdom, karma, action service, bhakti, devotion, mantra recitation, kundalini, energy work, raja, meditation, and hatha, the most widespread, focusing on physical postures or asanas and breathing.
For listeners curious to try a simple, iconic yoga movement to start their day, how would one begin to visualize or understand a sun salutation, Surya Namaskaram, purely through sound? While we encourage you to look up visual guides in our show notes, how can we grasp the essence of this flowing movement?
Describing a sun salutation purely through words is challenging, yeah. But imagine a flowing, breath-synchronized dance that invigorates your entire body and sets a positive tone. It's a sequence of 12 basic movements, coordinated with breath, creating a seamless meditative flow. You start standing tall, feet together, hands press at your chest, breathing out. Inhale, sweep arms up, gently arch back, opening the chest. Exhale, fold forward from hips, hands towards ground, legs straightish. Inhale, step one leg back into a lunge, chest open. Hold breath, bring other leg back, plank position. Exhale, lower knees, chest, chin to ground gently. Inhale, slide forward, up into a gentle back bend cobra or upward dog, opening the heart. Exhale, lift hips high into inverted V, downward facing dog, stretching the back. Then reverse. Inhale, one leg forward in a lunge. Exhale, second leg forward, folding again. Inhale, sweep arms up, stand tall, reaching up. Finally, exhale, bring hands back to chest, completing the cycle. It's a graceful, rhythmic flow connecting breath to movement, awakening body and mind.
You've just greeted the sun, now you're ready to have a fantastic, energized day. That truly sets a wonderful tone for mindful movement. What about Tai Chi? What's its essence?
Tai Chi, or Tai Chi Chuan Tai Chi Quan, is an ancient Chinese martial art, also immensely popular in Japan. Deep roots in Taoism, Buddhism, Confucianism. Originally an internal martial art focused on personal growth, energy cultivation, subtle self-defense defeating adversaries with minimal force, maximum agility. It evolved beautifully into a widely practiced discipline for health and inner peace, even promoted by the Chinese government as exercise. Various styles like Chen, Yang, Wu, Hao, but all share common objectives. Control through stillness, overcome force with finesse, move second, arrive first, no self-opponent, often called meditation in motion.
So it's about inner control and strategic flowing movement. What are some of its core principles for practice?
Master Yang Chengfu outlined 10 foundational principles. First, elevate the crown, maintain upright posture. Second, subtly tighten chest, relax back. Third, relax waist for fluid movement. Fourth, differentiate weight clearly between feet. Fifth, relax shoulders, elbows. Sixth, value mind agility over brute strength. Seventh, unify upper-lower body as one unit. Eighth, unify internal-external mind, body, breath in sync. Ninth, maintain continuous flowing movement like water. 10th, seek stillness within movement, calm even in dynamic postures. Core idea, an active body leads to a calm mind.
Can you give us an example of a simple, iconic Tai Chi movement to try to visualize or even attempt safely where they are?
One of the best known and most beautiful is imitating clouds. Wave hands like clouds. Imagine this. Extend arms forward, palms gently down, holding an invisible ball. Slowly turn palms inwards, gently hugging a tree trunk. Open arms gracefully to the side, letting them float. Bring left arm up center, right arm down center, tracing a ball shape in front, continually shifting. Turn left palm gently towards face, like looking in a mirror. Slowly shift weight left, pivot gently from hip left, eyes softly follow hand. Bring left hand to waist, right hand floats before face. Shift weight right, pivot right, softly looking at raised right hand. Repeat fluidly, continuous seamless shift of weight hands like gentle flags drifting. Finally, stretch arms forward again, bring down slowly, return to serene standing position. It's deeply meditative, promoting balance, coordination, calm.
That sounds so serene and flowing, a beautiful way to engage both mind and body. Finally, what about Qigong? How does it differ and what are its benefits?
Qigong, or Qigong, translates literally to life force work or cultivation of vital energy. It's an ancient Chinese system based on the Taoian art, designed to promote mental physical well-being through static and dynamic exercises, stimulating regulating respiration. Thousands of styles, but all share the fundamental goal of strengthening, generating qi, or life force, believed to circulate throughout the body. Movements are often gentle, slow, but practice is incredibly potent and intense internally. Scientifically, Qigong offers significant wide-ranging benefits, shown to modify brain waves towards relaxed states, balance sex hormones, significantly lower heart attack mortality, blood pressure, increase bone density circulation, decelerate senility, dramatically improve balance efficiency of bodily functions, increase brain blood flow, improve cardiac function, even reduce cancer treatment side effects.
How does one practice Qigong effectively? What are its core elements?
Qigong is practiced by regulating various interconnected elements. These include Tao Shen, body posture, Qiu Shi, breath-breathing techniques, Tao Xin, mind-emptying thoughts, Tio Qi, life force flow, and Tio Shen, spirit and inner strength. Ultimate aim, prepare the whole organism, mind, body, spirit, to work together in perfect harmony. One well-known set involves the 5 elements of Qigong: earth, water, wood, metal, fire. Each element has specific movements designed to balance corresponding energy currents within the body, thereby improving organ function and boosting brain health. For example, earth movement often involves raising arms slowly, sinking into a low grounded stance connecting to stability. Water might involve gentle flowing squats arm movements, emulating water, promoting fluidity calm.
It's clear that practicing these gentle yet profound Eastern arts not only keeps us physically in shape, but actively helps extend our lives and enrich our well-being, powerfully embodying the gentle movement's longer life principle we've seen across all blue zones. Wow. What an incredible journey this deep dive has been into the world of Ikigai. We've truly unpacked this mysterious yet beautiful word, understanding it not just as a concept, but as your unique reason for being. That profound happiness of always being busy in a truly purposeful way that resonates with your core self.
We've explored profound anti-aging secrets, haven't we? From the simple yet powerful Hara Hachibu diet, the science behind specific antioxidant power foods like shikawasa and sanpincha, to the undeniable importance of maintaining an active, adaptable mind, conquering harmful stress through consistent mindfulness, overcoming sedentary living with gentle daily movements, and recognizing sleep's vital regenerative role in producing melatonin. Each piece is a critical part of the longevity puzzle.
Then we plunged into the deeply philosophical and psychological aspects of finding purpose and flow in daily life. We drew crucial insights from Viktor Frankl's logotherapy, insisting on finding meaning even in suffering, and Japan's unique Morita therapy, both emphasizing action and acceptance over dwelling on negative emotions. We learned how to actively find that blissful state of flow by choosing the right level of challenge, setting clear objectives, and crucially by mastering the art of concentrating on a single task in our increasingly distracted world.
We saw flow in action through the inspiring dedication of Japanese Takumi, engineers, artists like master sushi chef Jiro and visionary Hayao Miyazaki, whose Ikigai fuels their lifelong passion and relentless pursuit of excellence. And we discovered the magic of microflow, that transformative art of infusing joy, intentionality, presence into even the most mundane daily tasks, turning chores into moments of quiet happiness and engagement.
And we didn't just discuss, we traveled, metaphorically, to Ogimi, the living village of longevity, to hear directly from the centenarians themselves. Their collected wisdom is simple, yet incredibly profound and universally applicable. Don't worry, cultivate good habits, nurture your friendships every single day, live an unhurried life, and always, always maintain an optimistic outlook. They live a life characterized by constant, gentle movement, deep community connection, and profound gratitude.
And we rounded it out with an in-depth look at the practical Ikigai diet, emphasizing variety, low sugar salt, that critical 80% rule, along with the incredible centuries-old benefits of Eastern practices like Radio Taiso, yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong, demonstrating that gentle, purposeful movement integrated into your daily rhythm is far more impactful than intense, sporadic exercise.
Look, this deep dive wasn't just about accumulating fascinating facts. It was about giving you a comprehensive blueprint for implementation. The secrets of Ikigai, of living a longer, healthier, more joyful life, are not some distant, unattainable goal. They are within your reach. It's about cultivating good, consistent habits, nurturing your friendships and community, choosing to live an unhurried and optimistic life, and consciously finding joy and purpose in every single moment, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant.
Indeed, it's about making those conscious, intentional choices every day to integrate these timeless principles. This brings us to an important, maybe a provocative question for you, our listener, to consider as you move forward from this deep dive and into your own unique life.
If happiness is in the doing, not in the result, and if our life lived is equally or more important for longevity than our genetic blueprint, then what is just one small, joyful ritual you can commit to starting today that will bring you closer to your own Ikigai? Not just for the promise of a longer life, but for the undeniable richness of a more meaningful, engaged, and truly happy one.